Hi everyone, great to be here today. My name is Natasha Ford and I'm a machine learning specialist at AWS, and I'm here today with my colleague Chris. I have been with AWS for 2 years now, and I work mostly with public sector customers to help them build enterprise machine learning workloads on AWS. That means enabling them to build machine learning models and putting them into production, but doing so repeatedly and consistently in a regulated environment. My recent interest includes scaling enterprise machine learning and responsible AI, which is what we will dive right in today. AI/ML has the potential to impact nearly every business process, decision, and outcome. Responsible use of AI should be by design, not an afterthought. It's a multidisciplinary approach across economics, moral philosophy, law, social science, and technology. Today, we'll dive into how AWS supports customers with an operating approach to responsible AI, encompassing people, processes, and technology. In this session, you will learn how AWS thinks about AI holistically. We help project teams look around corners, mitigate risks related to the development, but also deployment and operation of AI. So, what is data science and machine learning? Data science is the study of data to extract meaningful insights for organizations. It asks and answers questions like what happened, why it happened, and what will happen. Unfortunately, raw data is of no values unless data scientist teams can convert the raw data into meaningful recommendations. Today, machine learning and AI are part of the data science practice to build those meaningful recommendations. Data science touches on both the business and the technical worlds. In the field of machine learning, data scientists access machine learning data from many different data sources, transform data, design and build models, train models to solve problems in real time, deploy and monitor results to solve those business problems. And today, machine learning is seen as the most disruptive technology for our generation, with having a massive business impact globally. In 2020, it was found that only 1 in 3 Australians trust AI. And as a machine learning specialist for public sector customers in Australia, this is a conversation I have almost every day with my customers. For examples, many organizations have online services. They have to deal with a lot of fraud, and of course they're trying to detect this fraud automatically as much as possible, but it still takes them a lot of resources to do that. They know today that they can improve their fraud detection systems using machine learning. But because they're dealing with citizen data, concerns are raised, and only rightly, they need to be very thoughtful about how they do it to avoid mistakes that we've seen in the past and keep public interest in mind, which often prevents them from moving forward. Working with many of those organizations over the years, AWS wanted to support customers on that journey to responsible AI. An example of something that can go wrong when doing AI and machine learning is the propensity for machine learning models to amplify bias from historical data. AI systems can be used in many sensitive environments to make important and life-changing decisions. Thus, it is crucial to ensure that those decisions do not reflect discriminatory behavior towards certain groups or populations. An unfair algorithm is one whose decisions are skewed towards a particular group of people. A very famous example comes from a tool used by the courts in the United States to make pretrial detention and release decisions. The software, called Compass, measures the risk of a person to recommit another crime. Judges use Compass to decide whether to release an offender or keep him or her in prison. An investigation into the software found a bias against African Americans. Compass is more likely to have higher false positive rates for African American offenders than Caucasian offenders, in falsely predicting them to have a higher risk of recommitting a crime or recidivism. Compass is still in use by judges in the US, and the consequences for these algorithms in society are very real. Building machine learning systems that are resilient to a number of those issues is very complex because we don't always understand the consequences and trade-offs that we make for everyday use cases. To give you an example, when we train a machine learning model to recognize cows, we give the algorithm a number of examples of cow images as input. The algorithm will learn what a cow looks like, but also pick up on the environment. And here, the result looks quite valid, with the primary prediction indicating a cow in the image. However, if you use data that looks different than what was used to train the model, you'll end up with a problem like this, where the model will pick up different things than what you were looking for. So before we even build the model, just preparing the right data and labeling that data correctly is already hard. A small change can deliver a massive change of outcome, and here it's quite funny, but in the real world it can have massive consequences. So we know that's some of the issue. Why is it not straightforward to do responsible AI then, when we understand the problem? Well, we can't solve it on our own. It's a multidisciplinary problem. Many questions are arising from the development and use of AI. These are fundamental questions about what is intelligent, what is fair, what is a just decisions, how to balance between an individual and collective interest, how to solve ethical dilemmas, or how automation will make an impact on the labor market. Those are questions technology alone cannot answer. Answers to this question require interdisciplinary approaches. So, besides the disciplinary diversity, it is also important to consider cultural diversity, which includes factors such as education, religion, language, or gender. But historically, diversity in technology, the discipline that is building AI today, is still lagging. This is the historic launch of Apollo 11, and you can see only one woman at the launch control. A study by 365 Data Science in 2020 found that data science roles are still held by a majority of men, and there is just under a third of women. If you look at the C-suite level in technology, it goes down to 90% of women. This picture was taken 50 years ago, but not a lot has changed since then. And gender diversity is just one of the aspects of diversity. So, creating responsible AI requires engaging all parts of society, especially those people affected by the system. It also requires us to decide how AI should contribute to our future. So, what does AWS do to help? There is two major things that we help with. First of all, on the technical side, we have offerings that are fully operationalized, such as Amazon SageMaker, with capabilities that support responsible AI journey, and I will dive right on that. And secondly, and Chris will dive on this, we go beyond technology by thinking holistically about responsible AI, and we're launching a program called Ratio. So, expanding on the technology, as I said, we have Amazon SageMaker capability that supports the responsible AI journey. Amazon SageMaker offers a broad set of machine learning capabilities to help data science teams be more productive when building, training, or deploying machine learning models. Amazon SageMaker supports data scientists to build machine learning models at scale, get them ready for training, with everything needed for labeling training data, manage notebooks, built-in algorithms, and common frameworks. It's also easy to deploy machine learning models into production on a fully managed infrastructure with constant monitoring to maintain high quality. SageMaker has a large number of capabilities to support the end-to-end machine learning workflow. And some of these capabilities, as I mentioned earlier, are related to responsible AI. The most relevant capability is SageMaker Clarify, which provides an end-to-end solution to help you mitigate bias in machine learning and provide transparency across the entire machine learning workflow. And it all works from within SageMaker Studio, integrates with other SageMaker tools throughout the process of building a machine learning model. SageMaker Clarify can look for bias in your initial dataset as part of SageMaker Data Wrangler. It can check for bias in your trained model as part of SageMaker Experiment, and also explain the behavior of your model overall. It extends SageMaker Model Monitor to check changes in bias and explainability over time in your deployed model. It can provide explanations for individual inferences made by your deployed model. These are some examples of the report produced by Amazon SageMaker for bias on the right and explainability on the left. SageMaker Clarify provides a visual report with a description of the sources and measurement of possible bias, so that you can identify steps to remediate bias. For example, in a financial dataset that contains only a few examples of business loan to one age group as compared to others, SageMaker will flag the imbalance so that you can avoid a model that disfavors that age group. You can also see an explainability report that shows which features contributed most to your model's overall prediction. This detail may be useful for compliance requirements or can help determine if a particular model input has more influence than it should on the overall model behavior. These are very helpful capabilities, and we know that today for many organizations, they look at AI purely as a technological capability. They have isolated data science teams who work on data and business problems. However, what is needed for responsible AI is to shift towards seeing AI and responsible AI as a company-wide capability. We want to make it part of the fabric of how organizations make decisions, either fully automated or augmented decision, or how they drive optimization in the way they operate. Thinking about responsible AI holistically, using the multidisciplinary view with all the relevant stakeholders and stakeholders in place that enable repeatability for new workload, will enable organization to scale. This is a fundamental shift that incorporates skill, processes, and technology. If an organization gets this right, we know this shift can be transformational, accelerate growth, and deliver significant competitive differentiation and adoption of AI. I'll now hand over to Chris to talk to our approach beyond technology.
Thanks, Tash. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Howard, based in Sydney, and I lead our technical organization for AI and machine learning across Asia Pacific and Japan. As we've just heard, if we get this shift right, the transformational opportunity for any organization can be significant. When it comes to responsible AI, we see a similar need to go beyond pure technology and ensure we factor organic intelligence into the solution. People, not technology, are the secret to responsible AI. Organizations need to ensure their efforts are focused across a number of core dimensions when it comes to the adoption and governance of AI. Firstly, this is about thinking organizationally, embedding AI into the fundamental operating model that drives the organization. As Tash mentioned, this is about embedding AI and machine learning into the fabric of how organizations operate on a daily basis and how they leverage AI-assisted decision-making. Secondly, it's driving the right mindset, culture, leadership support, and goals to help ensure we set ourselves up for success and realize value from AI in production. Thirdly, we need to ensure that we are always focused on delivering on human-centric outcomes that are fair, equitable, and just. And lastly, it's a commitment to approaching this problem holistically. Again, as we heard earlier, this is a multidisciplinary problem to solve, and we need to ensure that we include a set of diverse perspectives when solving for this problem. It is not just the role of the data scientist to ensure we are approaching the problem in the right way. It's an organization-wide responsibility to ensure we are doing the right thing in the right way for the right reasons. Over the last 25 years, Amazon's approach to innovation has remained consistent, starting with customer and working backwards from their needs. Amazon's culture of innovation is organized around 4 interdependent elements. First, we start with culture. We are obsessed about our customers, and we strive to both surprise and delight our customers. Second, we have our organization. We form small, autonomous teams that can rapidly innovate in support of customers. Third is our architecture, a technical structure that supports rapid growth and reduces dependencies. Fourth and lastly are our mechanisms, processes and mental models that help turn good intentions into actions. One such mechanism is our working backwards approach that focuses on ensuring you have clarity around the problem to be solved for. We use a series of seemingly simple questions to ensure we are focused on the right things before the first line of code is even written. We ask ourselves the following questions. Who is the customer? What is the customer's problem or opportunity? What is the most important customer benefit? How do we know what the customer really needs or wants? Our approach to responsible AI follows the same pattern, ensuring we have clarity on what is important from the outset. For our customers looking to leverage the broad range of AI and machine learning services available to them on the AWS platform, they need to be thinking about how their use of AI will impact those they are serving. And so beyond these four initial questions, working backwards, we should be asking, who are we serving and who might be impacted? Are we inclusive of minorities or subgroups? Do we understand what harms or benefits are being brought about? And more importantly, can we quantify these harms and benefits? And do we understand how they are being distributed across the individuals or groups we are serving? Is it possible to measure any potential disparities in the distribution of these harms and benefits? Going further, we might look to understand the risks associated with a poor outcome. Are the corporate values of the AI system provider reflected in the way they are using AI to augment their decision making? Is there a need to provide clarity or an explanation of decisions? Is there any local regulation or compulsion to explain why? And finally, given AI is probabilistic, we still have a statistical chance of things going wrong. And so we need to ask, how will we handle a situation when something does go wrong? While not unique, locally, one of Australia's AI ethics principles is that of contestability, ensuring that when any AI system significantly impacts a person, community, group, or environment, there should be a timely process to allow people to challenge the use or outcome of the AI system. One realization when reviewing this list is that these are questions that no tool or technology will help you answer. To address this challenge, we have developed AWS Ratio, our responsible AI framework, an approach that aims to operationalize responsible AI, taking principles to practice as part of an end-to-end responsible AI journey. We do this in a high-touch manner with you to build skills across your organization, and we do this across both business and technology in a holistic way, targeting not just technology, but people and process dimensions. Within the Ratio framework, we have defined 7 pillars of responsible use. Beginning at the top with value alignment, ensuring congruence with your corporate values, local norms, and any regional legal requirements. Obviously, the law is your minimal starting point. Beyond this, in a clockwise fashion, we cover the pillars of data privacy and protection, ensuring the data of those being served is protected throughout its life cycle. Fairness, driving on a per-use case basis, agreement on a common definition of what a fair outcome looks like, and addressing the influence of bias. Transparency and explainability, ensuring where necessary it is possible to answer the question of why, and if needed, how to provide a mechanism for redress. Accountability, ensuring we have clarity on who is responsible across the organization, and ensuring that being responsible does not fall solely in the hands of the data scientist. Training and education to ensure broad awareness and understanding of the challenges associated with the use of AI are clear across the organization. And finally, diversity and inclusion, as we heard earlier, to ensure we are open to all perspectives, experiences, and views. These 7 pillars are supported in partnership with the AWS well-architected framework, ensuring a focus on the security and technical robustness for any AI system our customers are looking to deploy. The Ratio Framework also includes a number of key deliverables, ranging from an assessment of current state, assistance with principles definition, key risk identification and management, a longer-term implementation plan that takes into account the assessment and the risk mitigation actions, and ultimately the definition and adoption of a future state operating model that ensures any organizational efforts around responsible AI are by design and are not seen as an afterthought or a bolt-on activity. For organizations that choose to engage with AWS and the Ratio Responsible AI framework, there are a number of potential benefits. Whether this be an opportunity to accelerate the business adoption of AI, alignment of risk identification, management, and mitigation with broader organizational governance, risk, and compliance efforts, or simply raising awareness of the challenges targeted via responsible AI and the development of a by-design approach. While many organizations, especially those across regulated industries, may have already begun their responsible AI journey, we would hope that tools such as Amazon SageMaker Clarify, Model Monitor, and Debugger, combined with a human-centric and holistic approach such as AWS Ratio, will help deliver real value to those organizations looking to become AI-powered. So how do you get started in making this real? Across the broader portfolio of capabilities from AWS, we have a number of teams and service offerings to help you get started on your responsible AI journey. Within our professional service team, we have a specialist group such as the AI/ML ethics practice, a global team of responsible AI practitioners that can assist you with formal offerings within the AWS Ratio Framework. Beyond this, we have our extensive network of AWS partners, many of which who are qualified under our machine learning competency and are ready to help accelerate your ML journey. And as Tash mentioned earlier in the session, our range of AI and machine learning services. From the bottom of our stack, for those who want to go super deep with open source frameworks such as PyTorch and TensorFlow, the middle of our stack with Amazon SageMaker, our managed ML offering, or at the top of our stack, our suite of developer-friendly AI services such as Textract, Recognition, and Personalize, making ML just an API call away. There's no shortage of support to making this real for you. To wrap up, we also encourage you to get engaged with our training and certification content today. Lastly, a big thank you for taking time to attend this session and learn more about how AWS are supporting organizations in building responsible AI. We really value your feedback to help us improve our sessions, so please share your 5-star rating. Thank you from Tash and myself.